Go.
Streaming from South Africa to the world. This is the Stonks Go Moon podcast. What just happened? We break it down so you don't have to.
Welcome everyone to the Stonks Go Moon podcast. Most marketing is smoke and mirrors. Follower accounts, vanity metrics, empty impressions. Ethan Monkhouse thinks it's all broken. As founder of Naviro, he's building one of the biggest live intent databases, tracking who cares, not who clicks, with over 10 million digital revenue engineered and millions of behavioral signals decoded. Ethan says the old agency racket is dead and the future belongs to the operators who can measure resonance, not reach. Welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having me.
Man, that whole fake vanity metrics is something that I've suspected for years, but I could never prove.
And now we can.
So how do you think the old agency racket is ending? What's the core problem with how marketing is still done today?
I think it's the qualitative nature of it all.
Okay.
In the sense where I've been on the other side of run agencies. I've seen how
the sausage is made.
I've seen how lucrative it is of an industry. But the thing for me is every company, regardless of what industry you're in, feels the need to put money into marketing.
Okay.
There is a demand for that. And the thing I noticed across every single industry that I've worked in is that they know they have to put money into marketing. They don't necessarily know where it goes.
Okay.
And that's where vanity metrics come in. It's very easy to put together a report and say, hey, we got X amount of impressions, X amount of engagement. Your engagement rate is above average, things like that. Doesn't really mean anything. And I think a lot of marketeers have known that for a while. But until the last year or so, it's been impossible to introduce a new metric.
But CEOs still care about it though, because they marketers tell their CEOs and their CEOs feel very chuffed. And why do you think that even if they can see, hey, it's not translating into business, is it just like a pure vanity thing?
I think it is. And
Okay.
I think the reason CEOs find it, are so chuffed when they see above average metric like engagement or impressions is because they don't have any other thing to benchmark it against. There hasn't been a marketing campaign, or there's not too many marketing campaigns where I can say, hey, we put X amount of money in and it led to this uptick in your overall revenue for this department or this specific geographic area, things like that.
It's just we
And I
went
think-
viral on TikTok. Yay! What does that even mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, I think going viral is probably one of the worst things that can happen to your business.
why? Well, I know, but just why for the people out there?
Because 95%, I'm ballparking there, of the
Yeah,
time,
sure.
you're going to be attracting the wrong audience. And what that equals is just noise. And when you're looking at a channel that most likely relies on a hell of a lot of code and algorithmic decisions in the sense where it's a discovery engine, if you're adding in all this noise, that algorithm is going to get very, very confused. And say you went viral, all of a sudden you went viral in the US. Okay, cool. That's all well and good, but I only serve South Africa.
Yeah.
What's the point?
So how's that going to help me?
Exactly. And I think a lot of people confuse where the economy is when it comes to the creator economy. It's not an attention economy anymore. It's an intent economy. Like that's what people need to double down on, because attention's one thing. It's all well and good to hook people in.
Okay.
Intent is when you actually get them to lean into what you're saying.
Okay,
And when they lean into it,
so Naviro tracks intent in real time. What does that even look like under the hood? Because we're so used to saying, here's a dashboard, here's your impressions, here's your click-through rate, here's your new followers, whatever. But how do you actually measure intent?
a lot of code, to be honest. We've done the heavy lifting, but it starts with peeling back the layer of the audience.
Okay.
Who are they behind the screen? And that was probably the most technically difficult thing for us to do. And then when we cracked it, everything else kind of fell into place. And what I mean by that is everyone acts very differently online.
Oh yeah,
In the,
absolutely. Like who I am online might not necessarily be who I am in person, and we've known this for a long while.
yeah, exactly. And one of the big mistakes a lot of marketeers would make is that they profile based on the personality online.
Mm.
So if we take an example, what we use is Myers-Briggs, and funny enough, you with Myers-Briggs, the 16 personality types. I'm not too sure if you're
Yes.
familiar with
Yes.
them.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So very common across many different industries. What's interesting is it's one of the non-scientifically backed personality models.
Okay.
And that was odd when it worked for us because we tried everything. We tried dice, we tried all the different scientifically backed models, but the one that worked the best for us was the non-scientific one. And it was
Okay.
because like Maya Briggs was based off her analyzing her daughter's behavior. And it wasn't backed against that kind of research and that evidence. It was very much just observation. Yet it's what all social channels use to filter content to the right person. And so we needed to identify the
Whoa.
personality type of the user. And so once we did that, we are like, okay, cool, that's great, but it's wrong because no one acts themselves online.
Yeah.
So that was where the amount of data came into it. The more data we analyzed, the more we could detect these micro signals that will tell us, okay, if this person does this online, it means they're actually this type of person. And after terabytes and terabytes of data, we could eventually deduce, okay, hey, if they act this way online, we know their actual personality type. And that's where it starts. When we know their personality type in true form, we know exactly how they're going to ingest content, how they need to be communicated to, what messaging works with them,
Mm.
what indicates they're a loyal fan. Fan loyalty changes depending across every single brand or user or creator. And it sets the blueprint and the foundation for how you're going to approach resonating with the audience and converting them from just a onlooker to an
Yes.
engager, to an active fan, and
Yes.
then to a super fan.
Because you want people to engage with your content, right?
Exactly. But not just engage. You want the
Okay.
sentiment to invoke visibility. And what I mean by that is
The sentiment to
that
invoke visibility. Okay.
you
Interesting.
don't want a user to just feel like you're impressive. You want them to feel seen. And that's the biggest problem a lot of people run into. They try to show what they're building or show what they're doing.
Wow, yeah, that's very true. No, that's where that also sometimes hits home because you want to say, "Look what I did," or "Look what I accomplished," and then you publish that piece of content, and then everyone goes, don't really care. What does this do for me?" But
Yeah.
it used to
And like
be like that, right? When I sort of the age of the celebrity, which is also now sort of dying, it used to be like that. So things have changed.
they've changed, it hasn't disappeared, it's just changed in terms of how that's communicated. So you
Yes.
want them to be, they want to feel seen, a user wants to feel seen.
Okay.
And what that looks like is they want to relate to something that you've addressed. And the emotion that should invoke should be seen in the comments, which is why we rely so heavily on sentiment analysis within the
Yes.
comments, not just positive and negative, but
Oh.
like we're looking for responses like, "Oh my God, this is so me,"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
things like
that's
that.
interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I completely hear you. And also that's I guess where community comes in because if something is part of a community, there's more likely a chance of a conversion there.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. They're warm. So that's one
Mm,
thing we do with an audience. We segment them into different categories. There's different
okay.
types of followers or audience members, and putting them into the right segment is critical because you need to know what the next segment is for them. Because you might have someone we call them engagers. They
Okay.
engage with a couple of posts. That's about it.
But they've got
We're
no
not gonna,
intent of ever buying or
exactly.
procuring or whatever.
So you can't push them straight to like super fan level. You need to get them to an active fan. So
Okay.
not just engaging, but commenting the right sentiment. So knowing that they feel seen or knowing
Okay.
that they actually resonate with something, the story you're telling, the offer that you're putting out there, but still not quite at that super fan level where they're actually and this is the key part, they become your advocates. Because when you create a, say, a super fan or like
Yes.
a fan or an audience member or follower who is so loyal to you, they're not just financially investing in you. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a misconception.
Okay.
They're emotionally investing in you. And when they emotionally
Infers.
invest in you, they become your marketing team because they advocate for you.
You know where I've seen this is maybe a stupid example, but with Taylor Swift, I've seen her super fans not only procuring her tickets or her merchandise or her music, but actively advocating for her online, even in some cases fighting her battles for her.
Yeah. And what is the highest channel for conversion? Referral,
Referrals.
advocacy. It's not when you get an ad. It's not when you see some content. It's when someone you know, you trust, you value their opinion, goes, "Oh, you should check this out. I get so much value out of it."
Yeah, that actually sounds like the question to my the answer to my next question, which would have been that you guys engineered so much digital revenue on what actually moves the needle. Is it referrals?
Yeah.
Anything else? Or was it was it just referrals?
Just a straight answer. It's
But it's
that is the
hard, right? Because referrals, it sounds so easy, but when you dig into referrals and actually getting a referral from someone means that that person has to trust your product or you enough to tell someone close to them about it. It's actually much more complicated.
so I think it's there's a misconception on what the definition of a
Yeah, yeah.
referral is.
Okay.
So I think there's two types. There's a direct referral and an indirect referral.
Okay.
So we've had instances where, and let's say an indirect referral is probably the kind of less common one,
Yeah.
where let's say I have a product and I'm using it. It's a great app. I don't know the founders. I don't know the product. It's like the intricacies of the product, but I know I get a lot of value out of it.
Okay.
And then I told my friend, I was like, "Hey, look, I use this product. It's great. You should try it."
Mm-hmm.
He may try it. He may not try it. But if someone else comes into the same problem that I had, which in this case was say managing my emails, in the
Mm-hmm.
back of his head, he's going to be like, "Oh, Ethan had said this product works quite well. I might just let them know." And so that's an example of an indirect referral where the referrer isn't actually actively referring the product. They're just passing down information. It's a knowledge gap that they can fill.
Mm, mm, mm. And
And so
what's
that's what you're trying to instill in your audience.
okay? And what's direct?
Direct is me saying, "Hey, I use this app for managing my emails. It's called Superhuman. I literally, it saves me hours a day."
Okay.
That's a direct referral where there's no angle to it. You're not getting out anything out of it, but you know it saves you time and creates value for you. The person
Mm.
you're talking to is struggling with that pain. That's the
But
solution.
doesn't influencers typically fall into that category, but it's just a paid form of that? Or is that something different?
Thing is, trust with influencers has been declining
Mm,
because
mm.
you can't pay for it sounds really odd, but
No,
you can't pay
say
for
it.
honesty. You can't
Yeah.
pay for
It feels
genuine.
disingenuous. It feels disingenuous. Whenever I see
Yeah.
a TikTok from a creator that I like, and I see paid promotion at the bottom, I immediately, instinctively, I skip it because I feel like that's not something that you would have put out on your own. That's something that you were paid to. Yes, you might love the product, but there's still a financial transaction there.
Hmm.
So that's an
Exactly. And I
interesting
think
one.
that is the saturation of all of
Mm,
that has definitely killed the trust that people have for influencer marketing.
mm.
So it's all well and good to get, comes back to the vanity metrics, 1 million views. But if no one's trusting that opinion you're giving, no one's going to buy.
So, and especially in this age of AI where there's so much content out there, it feels like we're flooding in a sea of slop at the moment. How do you sort of cut through that noise to find those people for customers?
Make the user less lazy,
Hmm.
but also leverage what AI can do.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is AI, in my opinion, is going through its fast fashion era. That's what I
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of
Com-
stuff, as you said, there's a lot of content. It's just the internet is being saturated by it.
yes.
And the approach we've taken is we use AI to do the heavy lifting, and we
Hmm.
do it as well as we can, but it's the user who is going to be that validator, the one that goes, oh, yeah, okay, that is something I'm going to say, but I would like to just say that instead. And what I mean by that is, say we come up with a draft
Mm.
and it's something's trending in your industry, and it's like, okay, let's say OpenAI has raised a new round or something. You're
Yeah.
on the VC space, think you should make some comments on it. This is the angle you could take that relates back to some of your core pillars, maybe the crypto space, something like that. And it
Okay.
will draft a post idea. It
Okay.
will give you the content that speaks like you, but you might be like, oh, I actually don't think I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that and this instead.
Mm.
And that's where you prompt our platform, and it will be like, okay, cool, we'll go research a few bits in here and change it. And then the end result is what you look over and you're like, okay, I talk like that, but I would change a few things here. And it doesn't sound like AI. And that's what you
Mm.
want. You want it to not sound like AI, but also capture the human bits
The
of what makes your brand.
benefits. The benefits of it, I guess. So you touched there on something very interesting, which are trends. And the interesting part to me is that trends come and go so quickly now. A trend can die or be created on a Thursday and be completely dead on a Sunday. But some of them push through and become larger than life. How do you actually stay focused as a founder and say, what trends do I latch onto? Because being late can also be a sign of, hey, you guys are not with the times. That was like so last week. So how do you when everything's screaming for your attention, what do you decide? What do you pick up and what do you leave?
Comes down to the platform's ingestion of the data. And what I mean by that is
Ooh,
everyone has a different need for different trends,
okay.
in the sense where we have to monitor all different industries, all different trending topics, but then they come into our system, into the Naviro platform, and we need to
Yeah.
say, is it relevant? Is it relevant to this industry? Okay, cool. It's relevant to this industry. Let's have a look at our users in that industry. Okay, who would it be relevant to here? This is their content pillars. Does it make sense to actually like piggyback off this trend? Yeah,
Yes.
no.
Yeah.
The ones that say, yeah, we filter it through. That's when we're like, okay, let's go off and figure out how we're going to angle this trend for
That's
this user
so
in
cool.
the form of content. And that's when the user will see it.
Before Okay. Last question before I let you go. But it's as I'm trying to think about how to formulate it. Before you had the platform, right? And you could put stuff into there and you get something out. What is the most interesting thing that you realize very quickly about something that you might have had a misperception about or didn't know and say, oh, well, this is interesting. Does that make
This is a
sense?
yeah. So, but know what I was saying about personality types and how we
Yes.
figure out exactly the personality type of a
Yes.
person? The same thing can be done with content because it's the other side of what the person's seeing. So we can map a personality type to the content because it has all the attributes of a personality model. And that wasn't the crazy thing. The
Well,
crazy
just
thing was
pause me.
when
I've never even thought of that, but yeah, please go on. That's wow, interesting. Never thought of that, but yeah, go on.
with content, like it's a, I guess if you look at a personality type, it defines how someone communicates to the world, perceives things, interacts, voices, all these different aspects. The other end of that is, okay, what are they perceiving? What's being communicated to them? how's it being communicated to them? So all those factors come into content. So we were just able to reverse engineer and apply it to the content that was going
Because
out.
what I want to say and how you perceive it, it might not be the same messaging. And I've encountered that sometimes where I have to go, no, that's not what I meant. And people, and I'm looking at that and saying, but how did you get that from this? That doesn't make sense. And that's the
Well,
personality types that you're talking about.
what's really crazy though is we thought, oh yeah, let's match content personality types up to the audience that match the
Yeah.
personality type.
Logically,
That'll work.
makes sense.
Opposite. You wouldn't expect it, but it was the complete opposite in the sense where the polar opposite personality type of content resonated the most with the personality type, which was the inverse. And what I meant by that was, say, someone who is an ENFJ, which is quite an emotional personality type, versus an INFJ, which is like very informative. That's a very kind of statistical, that kind of approach. That content worked the best for them because it was different to what they would usually see. They're so used to this understanding the communication that they prefer. When they see something different, that acts as an organic hook.
I think I know why. It's because algorithms feed you into the echo chamber, so it just reinforces your bias. And once you actually see something outside of that, that might have a higher chance to resonate with you.
And that's why it's the opposite, which was just fascinating because we were really expecting resonance between personality types, but it was the opposite. It was opposites attract.
Wow, content is such a psychological battle. If when I think about it now, thank you, Ethan, for joining me today. You've opened my eyes quite a bit, and I think to the listeners as well. It's something that I've never really thought about, and I'm always keen to learn about this new stuff. And it sounds to me like you went through your own journey as well with the platform.
100%. Still going through it.
Still going through it. Ethan, thank you so much for joining me today. And if the listeners want to go and connect with you and find out more about Naviro and the platform, where can they do that?
Yeah, connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram is probably the easiest. LinkedIn, as much as it's probably the place to send people, I'm absolutely useless for staying on top of it. I use the platform for that, but Instagram I'm more active on. And then if they want to try the platform, Naviro.ai is probably the easiest. You can just honestly sign up, get all the analysis, cancel the trial.
And there you go. Thank you so much for joining me. And to our listeners, peace, love, and prosperity. We'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.
I don't wanna forget this. Yeah, you're not the type to fall in love. I know, I knew that. But if there's delusion being served, you know I'll take some. Thought maybe I'd be the exception. What a fun way to learn a lesson. Quick, give me a lift, take me back to a place. If you start to feel something, maybe even let me stay. Maybe even let me stay. Yeah, you're not the type to fall in love. I know, I knew that. But if there's delusion being served, you know I'll take some. Thought maybe I'd be the exception. What a fun way to learn a lesson. I'll never beat the I can fix him allegations. Just hope he'll give in to that monogamy temptation. I believe I'm the cure, I'm just like heroin, so pure. Yeah, you're not the type to fall in love. I know, I knew that. But if there's delusion being served, you know I'll take some. Thought maybe I'd be the exception. What a fun way to learn a lesson. You're not the type to fall in love. I know, I knew that. But if there's delusion being served, you know I'll take some. Thought maybe I'd be the exception. satisfaction. What a fun